Using an ink tank or a CISS with a printer is a good thing. It's cost effective and you don't have to keep changing cartridges or refilling cartridges. But how do you use one? There are some things to bear in mind. And the most important features, a couple of important things, but I'm going to come straight in and say, if you've got an ink tank attachment, it must operate at the same level as the printer. If you raise the ink tank too high, you're going to get drain into the printer. If you come down below, the printer won't draw the ink up and it will not print. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got here. The first feature I want to point out is the ink shutoff valve. You would use this if you were wanting to maintain the cartridges in any way, shape or form, and it would prevent ink from continually draining. And because you've pierced these ports here, it will allow ink to blob and fall out and make a mess. So you would use the ink shutoff valve here. As you can see, it's got a sliding roller and it narrows into the body of the ink tank. Just by sliding it down like this, just shuts off the flow. But when you're operating it for printing, it should always be fully open in the up position. Okay, another external feature of the ink tank is that you have these sticky pads here. Now, this allows you to attach the ink tank where you wish onto your printer and make it a permanent fixture. But of course, you can still take the ink tank off if you need to. You would lift the ink tank up. So you would just lift it up on your printer and pull the ink tank away. You have these sticky pads and you would just, I would recommend that you position it on there, take the sticky pads off and position the tank where you want it. But as I've shown you, you can still take the tank off when you need to. That covers that. So let's have a look there. That's all the external features. Let's have a look underneath the lid here. What you've got are three bungs, three types of bung. You've got the priming bung, you've got the air bung, and you have the filling bung. The priming bung, don't worry too much about that. There's a separate video on it. You will only need that if you allow your ink tank to run out of ink. Most people don't ever go near that. So let's have a look at the others. The filling, the air bung, just there. Of course, not easy to see, so let's turn it around like that. The little air bung there that's attached to the filling bung. When you're operating the printer, that bung must be out, or else you're going to create a vacuum within the ink tank and no ink is going to come out of the cartridge. When you're transporting the ink tank for any reason, you would just insert that air bung like that, and that will prevent leakage. So we're going to be printing with it, so we're going to pull your air bung out like that. Now, the filling bung. Now, these things are designed to fit tight and they may get a little bit of ink splat as you pull it up. Just there. As it is, it's not too bad. Let's pull that out the way. Because I've transported this thing around, it will show some yellow ink splat. Using the Photoplus brand, which is a HobbyPrint brand, the bottle is designed to easily fill ink tanks. All you would do is offer it up there and just squirt your bottle in. And that covers what's under the lid, really. Let's just bob that bung back there so we don't have an issue. And before we shut the lid, we're just making certain that we've got all the air bungs removed so it'll be good to print. We've got the ink shut-off roller located where we want it, and that really covers the tank section. Let's have a look at the ink cartridge block and using how you would use it. I'm going to show you an ink cartridge block independent because I'm not going to take that out. What you've got is 4 cartridges connected together. You've got a battery holder and you have a button and you have a chipset. Now the battery clearly is marked positive with a little plus sign on the upside, and the batteries that we supply with it also have a plus, and all you would do is insert that battery in there. And that is what the cartridge block would look like. Now, as you're operating, the printer calculates how many drops of ink you're using and will adjust the levels accordingly. When it considers any one of those colours to have printed enough to empty that cartridge, it will flash up a message. You may get an ink light switch on, but basically it's telling you that you've got to do something. So I'm going to simulate that so that you can see what we do, and I'll come back to it with our block here. All you would do to get the carriage over to the part position is hold the button on this printer, and all printers are different, but on this printer we've got a button with a dustbin icon. You hold that in until the ink carriage moves and then you release the button. There you go, the printer started to operate. Let it do its thing and it will park up just here where we want to get access to it. There we go. As I said, you've got an ink button here. You may be able to see it, but I'm going to come off this and we're going to go and look at the block. This is simulated. So there's your ink button there. And all you would do is hold the back of the board and just hold that button in. 5-10 seconds. And that's it. It will reset the levels and then you're good to go. You may or may not have to then hold that button. Just hit that button once. As you can see, the printer's sorting itself out, and that's it. You're good to go. And that is how simple using a CISS ink tank attachment is. Key points must be at the same level, height as the printer. And you can attach it using the back pads. You must, when you're printing, have the air holes open. And that really is that. If you go along with that, you're going to have low cost, trouble-free printing for many, many years. Thank you.